This episode of Fuel for the Soul is powered by ASICS. Head over to asics.com and sign up for a one ASICS account. It's completely free, and when you sign up, you will receive 10% off your first purchase. You'll also gain access to exclusive colorways on asics.com, free standard shipping, special birthday month discounts, and more.
Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And this is Megan with Featherstone Nutrition.
AKA Feathers in Paris. And who we got?
Ooh, that's fancy. And today we have a very, very special guest. We have Ashley here with us. We would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us anything you think we need to know.
Yeah, so I'm Ashley Young, married to Clayton Young. He's going to run the marathon on Saturday, and we're really excited. So he qualified for Team USA in the marathon, ran 2:08 back in Chicago, and we've been really excited for this day. We've been looking forward to it for a long time.
How responsible are you for all his success?
Oh, man. I don't think I'm that responsible, but I like to pretend that I am. I play a big role in his recovery. He does all the actual hard work and the training, and I just make sure that he rests well.
How did you two meet?
We actually met back in high school. We were just friends in the same friend group. We both ran cross country. He was there to win races. I was there to make friends. We both got what we wanted. And then later in college, we dated and got married.
So speaking of his recovery,
Yes.
since this is Fuel for the Soul, we are
Yes.
very curious to know a
Yeah.
little bit more about how you have supported him through nutrition, because I have seen the Instagram handle, Feed Your Runner, which I believe is you.
Yes.
And all the
yes,
fun
that's
things
me.
that you're making for him. I saw a delicious looking beet smoothie on there. So I also heard a rumor that in order to take things to the next level, Clayton thought maybe he needed to hire a chef, and you said, wait, I can do that?
Got a little bit offended.
Is this true?
Yeah, so we, back in 2022, Clayton was kind of looking for the next thing to do. We had, he was looking for the next thing to improve. He was able to make a few changes. And then in 2023, he was looking for the next thing. And he was like, well, I'm doing everything with training. I'm doing everything with sleep. I'm doing everything that I can. I think the next thing is like to improve my nutrition. And at that point, we'd been through some things in our personal life, and I was coming out of a stage of grief. We'd lost a pregnancy, a baby, and I had kind of stopped making dinner. I just had kind of lost a lot of motivation. And so when he said that that was the next thing to change, I was like, oh my goodness, I've really dropped the ball. This is something that I can do, and it really gave me a sense of purpose again. And so I kind of took that responsibility, started planning a little bit more, learning what I could about nutrition, reached out to some BYU professors and asked for their advice, and read a few nutrition books. And I'm by no means perfect. We just kind of decided the main rule is eat enough. First rule of recovery is eat. It doesn't really matter what. And then obviously if you can make it high quality, that's even better. But just getting in the nutrition is important. So
It's wild to hear. I have a lot of people that come to me for nutrition help in the exact same way that Clayton, they literally optimize absolutely everything in their lives. And then they're like, oh, shoot, I can optimize nutrition, right?
Yes,
and it's so funny to me. Obviously, that's, my bread and butter. So I'm like, why wouldn't we do that first?
The first thing, yes.
We're all very similar to a very, 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 very fast and successful runner. So it's always good to, relate all that back.
Well, I think it's easy to get out the door on a run and then come home and be like, oh, what next, right? And he comes in the door tired and sweaty, and he doesn't want to do anything. And so if I can just hand him a plate of food, then it's one less barrier on that road to recovery, rather than having to think, okay, what's in the fridge? What can I make? What do I want? What sounds good? And very little sounds good when you have to actually put in the effort to make it.
So basically, he said he wanted to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Gets you now doing all this nutrition. Have you seen a huge improvement in anything? Obviously he's here at the Olympics, but he was already performing at a pretty high level. What have you seen from maybe switching up, and is there things that you would say that every runner could do to kind of tweak and improve their performance?
That's a good question. So that conversation happened in July or August of 2023, right at the beginning of his build to Chicago. And then in Chicago, he ran 2:08 and hit the standard. And so that was a really big deal for his career at that point. His previous 2 Chicago appearances had not gone quite the way that he had hoped. And so we really did feel like, while his training obviously got better, like I do think that nutrition played a huge role in that. He also started practicing a lot more with his nutrition during his long runs and things, and that I think makes a big difference as well. And Megan is nodding. Yes.
What would you say are some of the biggest changes you guys made after that conversation in 2023?
So we started prioritizing food immediately when he got home. He loves Rice Krispies, and I think it's like air. And I'm like, why are you eating that? And so I would let him have 1 bowl of Rice Krispies, but I'd make scrambled eggs, and I'd throw in bell peppers, and I'd give him a tortilla. And so like trying to add in things that were simple and easy, but also the things that he loved, so that he felt like he was like feeding those cravings, but also getting what he needed. And then he started doing a lot more protein and collagen before bed, so that he would not wake up as hungry and be able to like be ready to run. We started having more like easy to grab things. He loves the almond butter bars from Costco, the new Nature Valley bars. So we have big boxes in his bathroom and in his office and upstairs. So like wherever he is, when he like needs it, he's got it. So just kind of keeping things in sight so that he remembers, and just like having easy things on rotation so that, yeah, he knows what to expect.
It's interesting because collagen we normally think of like pre-workout
Yeah.
and getting into the joints. Is it that Clayton's like working so hard that he needs to have a nighttime collagen, or would I benefit
So
from
he
something
does
like that?
he does the collagen and electrolytes right before he runs, and then the protein is at night. Yeah, before he goes
okay.
to bed. Yeah, sorry.
So same.
Thanks for asking.
Well,
Yeah.
also I was going to clarify, you give him eggs, bell peppers, and tortillas. Is it like a burrito?
Yes, you wrapped it up. Yes. So yeah, one of the things that I learned was that I had been thinking like he needs so much protein, right? Like you always hear about athletes and protein. But I was speaking with a nutrition professor at BYU, and he's actually a sports nutritionist. He will probably correct me after this. But he taught me that Clayton actually needs a lot more carbs than I expected. And that ratio was off in my head. I was thinking, oh, I need to give him more eggs. But then I was like, no, I need to give him a tortilla or 2, plus the bowl of cereal, plus these other things. So kind of tweaking that carb ratio, I think, really helped as well. Yeah, it was just one of those misconceptions in my head that all athletes need more protein. And yes, he does for sure, but the carbs are really important.
Yeah, and you know, with the amount of miles he's running, do you know how many miles a week he runs?
Yeah, about 120.
So, I mean, we talk a lot on this podcast about how the more miles you're running, the more carbs you need. So, I mean, in order for his body to keep up with that training of 120 miles a week and then have those training adaptations occur, we need adequate nutrition. So what you were saying before about, you know, the first message for you guys is to fuel his body enough. I love that. Like, I think we can't, you know, hit home enough. I think too many times we try to make it perfect. And is this food even good? And he's eating Rice Krispies.
Yes.
Go for it, right?
Yes,
Great source
yes.
of carbs. He loves them.
Yes.
It's not like we're taking those things away. Like, yes, let's eat that, but then let's also eat the rest of the things that our
things
body
that'll
needs.
fill you up and
is cool.
fuel you for a long time. Yeah.
Very, very
And we also started I started sending food with him to his workouts and things, because he would do a track workout and then he would go to the weight room and he'd go to the sauna, but he wouldn't eat anything in between. And I learned that like you need those carbs as fast as possible in those first few hours right after that session. And so I started sending him with big bowls of oatmeal or these different things so that he could start that process sooner rather than 2 hours later when he finished and got home. So.
And he saw a bang out performance because of it, which is so exciting.
I like to think it played a role for sure.
Yeah. And like you said, there was something we left in the bucket to tweak and to change for him, to give him a little more ammunition to, you know, gain that extra fitness. You mentioned that he started practicing more with his in-run nutrition, and I was personally fascinated at the trials about his contraption to keep his fluids cold. So what we heard was that he froze his bottle and put it into an insulated bottle with a hat.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us more about this.
Yeah, so Clayton has a degree in mechanical engineering. He has an ever-questioning mind. He loves to test things and figure them out. And he, for several weeks before the trials, he would set alarms on his phone. Okay, we need to take the bottle out at this time and see how fast it thaws. Okay, now we need to take this one out. Okay, now we need to see how long this one lasts. So we had a lot of weird bottles in our freezer that we were seeing how long it would take for them to defrost. And he knew that having it cold and the humidity of Orlando would be helpful. He felt like that would be an advantage to him. And then, yeah, he wanted a cold hat. And so he would try all these different configurations of trying to get that hat in there and have it all thaw at the right time.
Knowing now that he's a mechanical engineer, this all makes sense.
So much more
it all
sense,
makes so much more
doesn't it?
sense to me, yes.
And luckily with the Olympics, he will actually have ice hats available, so he doesn't have to do the canisters. But he is still going to use them, and he's really excited about it. So
he'll have his
he will
canisters?
He won't have canisters. I think people will be handing them to him on the course, so he doesn't have to do all of that.
It'll be cold? It will be in a canister until that person hands it to him, is what we think?
I don't know exactly how they'll do it, but the ice hats, yeah, they have a pocket. And so I think the ice will stay frozen instead of having to freeze the hat to begin with. So
this is
turns out that you have more help when you make it to the Olympics. There are people on hand.
I love it, as it should be.
Yeah, he's got a great athletic trainer at BYU who's also over USATF, and he's really helped make those arrangements.
Yeah. And do you know what he's putting in his bottles for the Olympics? Are you allowed to tell us this?
Clayton does all of that nutrition himself. He does all that research. I know he uses Martin. I know he uses caffeinated at certain times. He likes them in certain bottles so that it hits at a certain point. He uses ketones as well at certain points, but he's the one who does all the mixing. I just watch and unwrap things and hand them to him.
I love it. Yeah, that's why I had heard that he added electrolytes, Morton, and ketones all into those bottles, which, I mean, I have to say, we were all at the trials watching, and once I learned about what you're saying, to keep himself cool, his liquids were cold versus piping hot like everybody else's were, he looked the most put together at the finish line than anybody else coming through on that hot day. Yes. So that's what made me kind of dig. I'm like, what was he doing? I mean, clearly
he had
it worked.
a lot of joy, too. I think that definitely made him really excited. And, yeah, he looked really well put together, and it's hard to know which one came first, right? Like, did he look good and so he did well, or did he do well and then look good afterwards? I don't know.
Skratch Labs has always made staying hydrated both easy and yummy, and their newest product, Everyday Hydration Drink Mix, is no exception. It's for those times when you need a little, not a lot, of electrolytes. Yes, sugar, no. Shorter workouts, longer travel days, general everyday thirst. Everyday Drink Mix has all the electrolytes you need without the sugar that you don't, and just a squeeze of real fruit for flavor. Try their new limited edition salted margarita flavor because, well, it's a salted margarita that hydrates you. What more do you need? Science for function, real fruit for flavor. Shop all Skratch Lab products at skratchlabs.com. That's Skratch with a K.
So Clayton's here in Paris, and he's been here for a while. What is he doing, like, nutritionally? How is he getting through this week before?
So he, so we got in for the opening ceremonies, and then we went to Switzerland for a week, and I was able to go with him. Did some really expensive shopping in St. Moritz and cooked some really expensive chicken and ground beef, and it was good. So we ate pretty normal that week, and then he came back on the 2nd, and he's been in the village eating at the dining hall, and I've asked some questions. Honestly, I flew back home and was with our kids, and then I just got back out, so I kind of left him on his own. He's competent at feeding himself, imagine that. But he did find Rice Krispies at the village, and he said that he has to carry salt with him. Otherwise, like, he always has to have a shaker, otherwise it doesn't taste very good. One day he said, I didn't do very well at lunch, but I did really good at dinner. I was like, what does that mean? I don't really know. So there are various different areas that you can get food from. There's like a French-themed one, and you guys have probably already covered this, but he's like figured out these different things that taste good from each space, and he'll go and get all the different shrimp from this one, rice from this one, spaghetti from this one, and the condiment bar, he said, is essential. So I don't know what all of that means, but he's figured out a good way.
I'm going to take you back to trials real quick.
Yes, great.
Because this is the biggest question I have. When you saw him at the finish as his wife,
Yes.
and he looked so good, and then he let another runner scoot right past him to the finish line. What was going on in your mind when you saw that?
I was just so happy he made Team USA, and I didn't really care. I knew that top 2 would get him there, and it didn't matter which place he was. I just knew that top 2 was important. I think with Connor, there's an expectation of Connor's going to make this team. And with Clayton, there's like a hope Clayton's going to make this team. And so in my head, it was like, I can't believe the dream is happening. And in their head, it was like, the expectation must come to pass, right? And so I was just thrilled. I was so happy.
Okay, so he's got kind of a squeaky clean reputation, and you see him help his friend make it onto the Olympic team.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that's annoying about him or something. You're his wife, so you got to know. There's got to be something that you're just like, ugh.
Oh man.
Are you
I
good?
mean, he's not perfect. He is
Give
a
us
human
give us a
being.
little something.
Oh, let's see. Oh, what would be a funny thing to share about Clayton? Clayton is all about like being sneaky and getting where he's not really supposed to be. And yeah, like at the trials, his words to his family was like, get to the finish line. I don't care if you don't have the wristband. I don't care if you don't have the thing, like get there. And so when he heard that, like we hopped fences and like brought the girls across the front of the line, he was so proud of us because he's like, you get where you need to be. It doesn't matter how you make it happen. So don't know how that will go over with the world knowing that Clayton gets where he wants, but
I love it. Okay, so we know he's surviving here, eating the food. Is there a special meal the night before the race?
He typically does rice or pasta, marinara. He doesn't do Alfredo sauce at all. Usually a piece of chicken, some rolls, a little bit of veggies on the side. He is a creature of habit, but he's also flexible. And he can eat things even if they don't taste good when he knows that he needs to. So he'll be flexible, but yeah, prioritize carbs.
Okay, and then race morning, what is the meal?
Yeah, he usually likes a piece of toast with peanut butter and a banana.
Okay. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty standard.
That's exactly what I was just going to ask, and Meg took the words out of my mouth.
And an almond butter bar if he has one. I think he packed a bunch, so he might bring one of those.
Which ones are these? The Nature Valleys that's almost like a sandwich?
Yeah.
And those are good. And you get those at Costco?
Yes, one time they were on sale, and so I bought 4 boxes.
How long did those last?
Oh man, we go through them very quickly, and our girls love them too. So if he eats one in their presence, then they have to have one too. So yeah, they don't last long.
Delicious. They almost taste like a slightly healthier Nutter Butter.
Yes,
They're good.
yes.
They're really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I love
else
those.
are some staples from Costco? We heard that you really love Costco.
Yeah, we do Costco a lot. Let's see. We really like their. That's a good question. I try and do a lot of like the fresh foods from there, so I get a lot of like the chicken in bulk, the ground beef in bulk, the salmon. We like the tomatoes. We do a lot of bowls and things with tomatoes. Clayton is not really a snacker, which is contrary to a lot of runners, I think. So he really does fuel up at mealtime. So like those almond butter bars before he runs are like one of the few packaged snacks that he really will eat. He likes the Unreal, Snickers-like bars. He really likes those.
So his diet has completely changed because of all this. You have kids. Are they picky eaters? And has your diet changed along with it? Like, are you changing up what you're doing because of the stuff that you're learning that's helping Clayton?
Yeah, our girls are not very picky, which I think is partially just their nature and partially because they see us eating it all the time. Like they think that eating broccoli for breakfast is totally normal. Like they will ask for a plant with I always tell them that we'll eat a plant and a protein, and like they will eat broccoli for breakfast, and like not bat an eye. And I think they just see Clayton eating whole foods, and like it's very, very normal for them. I changed very much? I think we both. I don't like the term healthy. I don't know. I feel like healthy is so hard to define, and I think it's different for everybody and like different palates and things. But we do eat a lot of plants and a lot of whole foods at our house. So.
Okay, 120 miles a week.
Yeah, in 6 days. He always likes me to qualify that as well. Yeah.
So like every day is a long run day.
Yeah, so he'll do 12 miles in the morning and then like five or so in the afternoon.
Okay, so could just like take us through like a day. Like how much is Clayton eating? Like
yeah,
it's gotta be a lot.
It's hard to quantify. Like we haven't really put it to a number because we eat so few packaged things that it's like hard to tell. His watch says like 3,000 to 4,000 calories.
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. Anybody who moves that much knows that's a lot of food.
Yeah.
But but because he's not a snacker, I feel like that's different, right? Like when he sits down to eat a meal, like I will cook a meal for a family of 6 and it's gone. Like he just eats
Clayton.
a lot of food.
This is a meal of 6 and it's just him.
I mean, me and the girls as well,
Okay.
right? But like our 5-year-old's not eating a huge portion, so Yeah, so he will have a snack, get up and have a snack, collagen, electrolytes, go on his run, come back, and I'll try and have like 3 or 4 eggs plus bell peppers and the tortilla and the salsa for a breakfast burrito, and then like either a bowl of Rice Krispies with a banana or oatmeal, and then he'll take a nap, and then he'll wake up and have a sandwich, and then he'll go a turkey sandwich and some chips. He loves chips. And then he'll go on a run, and then he'll come back for dinner and eat a big bowl and then another big bowl. So he just, eats a lot.
Sleeping, running, or eating?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the 3. The girls are always asking, is Dad asleep or is he running? Those are the 2 options.
Is he a dessert person?
He doesn't have a big sweet tooth, no. He will eat like 1 serving. Like he's a human. He does like sugar, but like he doesn't eat a lot of it. He doesn't really seek it out. He loves Snickers. So yeah, he likes the Unreal Snickers. He loves like a good pan of homemade brownies or homemade cookies and things. Ice cream. We both went to BYU, and he loves BYU Creamery ice cream. So we'll get that when we want a special treat. He actually prefers dessert for breakfast. So like the 2 weeks after the trials, he ate ice cream for breakfast almost every day.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
I was going to say, so after the marathon, what is the big celebratory meal?
Yeah, that's a good question. He will probably eat ice cream a fair amount when we get home. That's probably like his big thing that he's excited about. He loves a good burger. It's interesting, like he doesn't really deprive himself. Sure. He doesn't say no to things. He just eats it in a smaller quantity if he really wants it. So I wouldn't say there's like something that he hasn't had that he's looking forward to.
There's no like drastic changes like leading up to a race versus after?
He will start to kind of limit sweets. Like I asked him about the famous chocolate muffins in the Village.
Are they as good?
He was like, I haven't had any. And he said that he's avoided the dessert table, and he's like, it's kind of sad because France is so good at desserts and I haven't eaten any of the things that they're good at. So I guess he had one and he said it was pretty good. Okay. So yeah, he kind of starts to limit sweets as we get closer to a race. But other than that, I feel like he's just a pretty moderate eater. He tries not to deprive himself and tries to stay well-rounded.
The one topic we didn't really talk about is hydration. So how is he hydrating throughout the day, and is he like using elements?
He drinks so much water.
Okay.
And typically with liquid IV mixed in, that's just at Costco, and it's what's easy to get in bulk. We've used Just Ingredients electrolytes as well. Just Ingredients is a Utah company that we really like. He's used Refine as well, just kind of whatever we can get. He's also incredibly cheap, so he uses what is given to him. It's like more rewarding for him to use something that was free than to pay for something that he really wants. Kind of funny that way.
He's a pretty decent sweater, right?
Yes.
I like to talk to people about when you're running with other people, how sweaty are you? The sweaty one, the unsweaty one? And it seems like he's really had to pay attention to that hydration piece.
Yes, so he's really sweaty because he saunas a lot. And so he's optimized his body to cool itself. So he's become significantly more sweaty through his training.
So does he use the sauna every day?
Throughout the build, it increases. So typically he'll start doing just Tuesdays and Thursdays with his workouts, and then about a month out, 3 weeks out, he'll start doing it every day. Yeah.
Which then he's sweating on his runs twice a day.
Yes,
sweating
and
in the sauna.
he's wearing long sleeves and long pants or his sweatsuit. Yeah. So he sweats all the time. He came back from his run in St. Moritz in his sweatsuit, and he just I'm just dripping. He smells really bad.
Yeah. I'm sure the sweatsuit smells lovely too.
Oh, man.
That was what we were looking
yes,
for,
that's
right?
what you want to do.
Yeah, there's the dirt.
Yes.
There we go.
He is a sweaty man, but I guess it's good for him. So, yeah.
A sweatsuit is usually like boxers used to wear these rubberized suits that don't let you breathe.
Yeah.
So you basically just get
he looks kind of like a
trapped.
marshmallow. Okay. Like it's just this big white
kind of
puffy
what I
suit. Yeah. Yeah, like the Michelin Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. But like wet and smelly.
So the goal is to get himself used to hot marathons or hot weather races,
Yes.
which we're getting a lot of. But and this works. Like this is proven to work to like acclimate yourself to sweating, because I sweat a ton, and I cannot run in hot weather.
I don't know the science behind it as well, but Megan's nodding. So
That's why Clayton is an elite runner and you are not. There's a little bit of a difference.
one.
Yeah, I mean, and I have to go back to seeing him, and as strong as he looked at the trials, I mean, he was ready for the heat.
He was.
He was ready.
He was
Like,
very ready.
You know?
And it was intentional. Like, that was very intentional preparation. So I think all bodies sweat differently, but, like, because he has been in the sauna, I would love to know the cumulative time that he spent in the sauna. We're probably talking hours and hours and hours and hours, and how much sweat that is.
And
how
a testament
hot
to
that
him
is.
for being on top of his hydration needs, because with those huge losses, some people physically can't keep up with taking those electrolytes back in. And clearly, if he's able to continue to train like he is and tolerate all of this, he's doing a great job in the background.
Yeah, I don't know the number of ounces that he drinks, but 6, 7, 8, 9 water bottles a day. Yeah.
And then
wakes up all night to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. So fun.
Okay, where are you watching on Saturday?
You guys, this has been the debate for 6 months. I still don't know. So when we came out in April, he would go out and run the course, and I went out with him and was trying to figure out how I can get around. I love to spectate. I love to get around. In Chicago, I can see him 12 times on a bike, and I'm really proud of that. But this course is just really not friendly to that. I found a way to get out to mile 10 and then take a road that gets me to mile 18. Okay. And I am really excited about that because it's by 2 of the hills that I really want to be at. But I can't find a way to get from mile 18 to the finish faster than Clayton will run it. And I don't know what to do. I don't know if I sacrifice the finish line to be there on the hill when he's like that. I think that's where the race is going to be won. That hill at mile 18 and then that downhill, that's going to be super decisive. So.
All right, one last question, and you got to be his biggest fan.
I think I am.
And I mean, nobody else is going to be running all over the course that much. But we've seen, Kenya, Ethiopia dominate the marathon. We've seen some surprises. We saw at Tokyo, obviously, we had a woman come in 3rd place.
Yeah.
And in your heart of hearts, are you guys prepared to, be on the podium? Is that what we're thinking?
I want to set realistic expectations because Clayton is ranked 50th or 60th. He's to the world, right? He doesn't look like he's that high up, but I think given his preparation and this course, he could definitely medal.
And from each country, only 2 or 3 runners are allowed to go. So it kind of narrows down when you say 50. It's not everybody that's available for the marathon.
I think, yes, I will have to look up that number, but I'm pretty sure that in the rankings for the Olympics, he's that far down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he's a 208 marathoner.
Yeah.
And a lot of these runners are 201, 202, 203. So Americans are great at a lot of things, and they are going to get better at the marathon because Clayton and Connor are at the top.
How many surprises have we seen on the track this year?
It can definitely happen. And a lot of these people are qualifying at flat, fast, cool courses, right? And so they're going for a time, and then they get to Paris, and it's hot, hilly, and humid. And Clayton's great at hot and humid, and Connor has made Clayton great at hills. So I think he's got a great shot.
Does Connor come to you for advice on nutrition now?
Connor, I like to feed Connor whenever he's around. I can't see a runner who's hungry and sweaty and not just shove food in their face. So yes, I love to feed Connor. But his wife Kylie's pretty competent too. They do a great job.
We will be at mile 3
Ooh.
of the marathon course, so we will be cheering so loud.
Good.
So we'll be the first stop cheering, and then you'll be 10 and
He'll probably
18.
look pretty good there.
He will. He will look really good there. He will probably, be sticking out his tongue, occasionally laughing. Yeah, he tries to keep things really relaxed the first half. So
Amazing.
keep things fun.
Well, we're obviously rooting for him, and thank you so much for coming on our show and chatting with us. This was very fun.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm so excited.